Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is the Lifewave and X39 introductory call. I'm your host this evening, Robin Blank Mascari, and we get together every Tuesday evening. And we do record this so you can see this on our YouTube channel at liveyoungeryoutube.com. And what we do is give an overview of the company. We give a little bit of the history, some information about our founder, David Schmidt. We talk about our technology, and we bring on a special guest. And we have doctors in rotation. So this evening we have Dr. Jeffrey Hubbard, and everyone loves all the doctors. And healthcare practitioners, I should say. They're not all doctors, but they have tremendous wisdom to share. And then Dr. Jeff will be talking about our technology. And after that, we open things up for you. And if you have testimonials, we love hearing your stories. Let me know in the chat section and raise your hand so I can find you easy. If you have a question, please put it there also. And remember, we do not diagnose, prescribe any kind of diseases. And we ask you to please share symptoms only when you share your testimonials or ask a question. Very easy to do. And then we're very compliant, and we love that. We also want to give a very special warm welcome to people that are brand new and looking at Lifewave for the very first time. This is a great place to be because we give a brief overview and you get a little sense of who we are as a company, or what we're about, and this beautiful community that we get to share together. So I think it's time for me to get started with things. So who's Lifewave? And Lifewave is a very special company that has dramatically changed my life, and I'll share my story in just a minute. The company has been around 16 years. We celebrated our 16th anniversary in November. And the original product was actually created on a government contract for the Navy SEALs. It was designed to help keep them awake in their mini subs. These individual mini subs, sometimes they have to stay awake for days, and we don't want people. And then we have a dog. So that's Levi. Oh. I thought I had the door closed. So this is a home-based business. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have them. They usually hide out under my desk, so hopefully they won't be a bother. So the product was called the Energy Enhancer, and it was designed for the Navy SEALs to be able to stay awake for days on end without any chemicals or stimulants. It actually burns 500 calories of body fat. And from that place, the company was born. And well, Lifewave wasn't born, the product was born, and then 9/11 happened. And what happened after that is the government had different priorities, and they weren't into survival equipment any longer. They were doing other things. So what happened is David was looking for how to get this amazing product to market that was in a patch, a non-transdermal patch, meaning nothing goes into the body. And he was speaking with someone. David is a researcher and a scientist and an inventor. He has over 100 patents and patent pendings to his name. And he learned that the best vehicle when you have something that is so cutting edge is to have the voice of people, which is person-to-person relationship marketing, network marketing, multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it. It's a profession that we love because we get the best products in the world this way. There's many other wonderful benefits, but we're here to talk about, the company and the star of the show, which is our product called X39. So back to the company for just a little bit. The first product was called the Energy Enhancer Patch. And it's a simple little patch that looks like this. And when worn on the body, does amazing things. Your body heat activates it. And we'll have Dr. Jeff talk about that in a little bit. So the first phase of the company in 2004 was what we call more symptom-based products. And so the Energy Enhancer Patch, David realized that there were some pain relief benefits. So he tweaked the formula just a bit. And the Ice Wave patch was born, which actually reduces pain instantly or dramatically in the vast majority of people. And it's quite miraculous. And it works on animals too. Speaking of animals. And then there's a sleep patch, and that sleep patch is something that increases the melatonin in your system. People have sleep challenges for different reasons. So if you have a sleep challenge, be sure to get back to the person who invited you, because there's some things we can help you with. There's 4 different patches that can actually help with sleep. Then phase 2, David introduced the anti-aging phase. And anti-aging is, how do you put the brakes on the aging process? And then the eon, glutathione, and carnosine patches were born. We're not talking about all the patches this evening. I just want to mention them to you. And then starting 10 years ago, David became really fascinated with regenerative science and started doing his research in that arena, and has many, many patents in that arena, and is constantly doing additional research. And then back in January of 2019, he launched what he considers the creme de la creme of his career to date. There's more coming. But right now we call it the X39, and it's a regenerative patch. And regeneration is actually different than anti-aging. Anti-aging puts the brakes on aging. Regeneration actually, when cells get repaired or regenerated, they come back stronger and healthier than they were before. So that is a little bit of the history. We turned 16 in November, like I said, and David's continuing to be in the lab. He actually is different than a lot of other company owners. He's really, really committed to the science, and the company invests millions and millions of dollars in clinical proof to validate what he is finding, in the lab. So that's very exciting to all of us. Now I want to make sure and see if our doctor is with us yet. Is he here yet, Gregory?
No, I'm not seeing him.
Okay, not yet. He'll be here in a minute. He said he was running just a little late. So let me continue on and talk a little bit more about the company. The company is actually based in San Diego and in Galway, Ireland. We send our products to millions of people in over 75 countries around the world, and have 14 distribution centers, which is very exciting. I'll explain the patches just a little bit until Dr. Jeff gets on. What David Schmidt was able to do is he discovered, and I will show you this book here, and it's called GHK Copper Peptide by Dr. Laurent Picard. He is a scientist and researcher, and his focus was really how to eradicate disease. And he discovered this peptide, and I'm not going to, the billion-dollar companies have been trying to activate this peptide since he discovered it. It does many, many different things. And we invite everyone to do their own research on this peptide called GHK-CU. When it gets activated, some amazing things happen in our bodies. And he'll be here in just a minute, he said. So he's logging on right now. Great. And these billion-dollar companies have not been able to crack the code that our genius founder, David Schmidt, has been able to do, which is very exciting for us and the rest of the world. He's becoming well-known in the scientific community worldwide because he's done this. He's a very quiet, humble man, very focused, and is providing tremendous information, education, and resources for all of us that are absolutely changing lives. So we're blessed and honored that we get to work with Lifewave. So let me just briefly tell you my story. Back in 2018, I was researching stem cell injections because I did not want to have another knee replacement. I had one. It was a very unpleasant experience. I'll spare you the details. I still am having challenges with that one. About 80% of people have very successful total knee replacements, and I was sadly one of the 20%. And so I was looking for alternatives because I was a candidate for a double replacement, being bone on bone, skiing hard all those years when I was young. I paid my dues. And so I was looking into stem cell injections and had done quite a bit of research. I'd been to many of those wonderful webinars that you hear floating around. I do recommend you go to those. They're quite interesting. And it is fascinating because stem cells is the future of medicine. So we're very, very blessed that we have a different way to activate our own younger stem cells. So one day, I got one of those amazing calls from our friend Kai Jacobson, and he said there's a new technology. It's historic. It's a breakthrough. It uses light to activate your own stem cells. And I went, oh my gosh, how fast can I get it? Because I was in pretty severe pain and it had really limited my lifestyle quite a bit. The patches came, I put it on what's called C7 at the top of my spine. If you bend your head over, there's a bump at the top. That's called C7. The patches are operate on our body's electrical system. And so I forgot about it. I was just putting it on. And a week later, the pain was gone. And I was in shock. And I came on as a customer. I was not interested in the business. I just was looking for relief, which I got really quickly, I'd say, after all those years of pain and suffering. To have the pain actually go away in a week was amazing. And I'm one of those people that if I find something valuable, I can't not share it. So I started sharing it. And now there's many people in, I think it's 35 countries or 40 countries around the world that have had their lives changed because of my left knee. But what was really amazing is, in addition to the knee, what happened was I noticed other things, and I started researching what was going on, and started really learning about stem cells and learning about the copper peptide. And then I started noticing, oh my goodness, my skin. Many of you have heard me say this. I'm not so afraid of the magnifying mirror. I tell people I'm 97. Actually, I'll be 67 at my next birthday. And I'm really proud of that. And I hope to always be proud of every year that I have. And I keep feeling better. So other things started happening, just subtle things like, wow, my reaction time's better and my eyesight's improved. And the fun one that I love to share is that, I have this finger that was stuck in this position for 20 years from an accident. And all of a sudden I went, oh my gosh, my finger straightened out. So it just goes on and gets better and better and better. And what's so beautiful is the company is continuing to do research and learning more and more. And our most recent study is really one of the ones that excites David Schmidt the most, I think, lately. He gets so excited about this, is that the longer you wear the X39 patch that activates your own younger stem cells and does many other things, the better your cognitive functions are. And many people at my age, may be concerned about cognitive decline. And that actually gets better and better and better. So memory, mental clarity, reaction time balance, a lot of things that, become the beginning of the end for a lot of people. So let's see where our doctor is. And I am not, honey, you don't see him, do you?
I'm not seeing him on the list unless he came in under a different name.
Okay, and my phone died, so.
Attendee list.
Okay.
So,
well, I will continue to go and we will find him. Let's see. If you are with us, Dr. Jeff, would you raise your hand in case you're on, a different. Okay, we do have some hands raised for our questions and things, but I don't see Dr. Jeff yet. Okay, my phone came back alive. This is technology and this is real time. So thank you everyone for your patience. I do want to say hello. We got people from all over the place, and there's a lot of hellos there's a lot of Canadians in the Philippines. This is wonderful. Texas, New Jersey. Yes. Our dogs are very healthy. We have 5 animals, and 4 of the 5 actually wear patches. So that's pretty wonderful too. And we will talk about
Robin,
that.
if you'd like, I could show a few of the PowerPoint slides while you're calling Dr. Jeff.
Oh, that would be great. Why don't you do that?
Okay.
Thank you.
Hold on just one moment.
Thanks everyone for your patience.
Okay, Plan B. Okay, welcome to the stem cell revolution.
You're welcome.
There we go. And certainly everyone wants to look, feel, heal, and perform and live younger. And stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system. And the problem is the older we get, the fewer we have. And by age 60, and Rob and I are both up in our 60s, only a small percentage remains. And the sad truth is the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. So stem cell injections can be expensive, painful, risky, controversial, and there's really no guaranteed results. And the good news is you can look, feel, perform, and heal and live younger with this historical breakthrough in stem cell technology. It's a wearable technology in patch form, as Robin shared with you. Affordable, safe, non-invasive, it's non-drug, it's a patented form of phototherapy, and it uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve stem cell activity. And Robin already told you about our visionary founder, David Schmidt, a brilliant scientist and researcher, genius with over 100 patents and patent pendings. And he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for 20 years, already conducted over 90 clinical studies proving the efficacy of Lifewave phototherapy products. And, we're a 16-year-old advanced technology company. Robin already explained that the product was developed back for the Navy SEALs. It's so effective now, used by world-class athletes the world around, headquarters and laboratories in California and Ireland, and distribution is 75 countries. You've already covered that, but I don't know, Robin, if Dr. Jeff's on, or otherwise I'll continue.
Why don't you continue for a second?
Okay. So how does this amazing technology work? It's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. That's kind of a mouthful, but Lifewave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and crystals. And when applied or near your body, they're activated by our body heat and then begin to emit these very specific wavelengths of light that stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in the body. So this is known as photobiomodulation, and it's the basis for our Lifewave phototherapy patches, which phototherapy is just short for photobiomodulation. So it looks like Dr. Jeffrey's just raised his hand, so I'm going to stop the share.
Will you promote him, please, to host?
And I'll promote him out.
And thank you, my dear. That was wonderful.
You're welcome.
I love it. But we all need to learn how to be flexible in these days here. So Dr. Jeff's going to be with us in just a moment. I believe he is here. Oh, good. So Gregory was doing a great job. Thank you. And so now we get to bring on the doctor to share a little bit more. And it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jeffrey Hubbard. He's an MD and has an MS in physiology. He lectures, and he's also the founder and president CEO of Comedicare, an innovative health and wellness ecosystem. And he really has this just passionate heart to work with the underserved. He has a classical medical background, but his focus is on prevention and education. And like I mentioned, he really, really has a heart to serve in the underserved communities in this country and specifically in Africa. So he does a lot of lifestyle education. He teaches about nutrition and alternative modalities. He got involved with Lifewave back in February, and we are thrilled that he has joined us with Lifewave. So Dr. Jeff, would you join us, please? Put your camera on so we could see you. He's coming. There he is. Yay.
Guys,
we're so glad to have you this evening. Wonderful. Welcome, welcome. So Should we take a big deep breath? Are you okay?
So I'm good.
Okay, you look good. You look good. So, Dr. Jeff, as an MD, as a doctor, what is it that got you interested to explore LifeWave and start incorporating that into your practice?
Oh, wow. So I'm always looking for new and innovative ways to, kind of impact people's health and give them an opportunity to do things in a natural way. A lot of the clients and patients that I work with, they're either over medicated or kind of have grown tired of traditional allopathic medicine and the way that we kind of manage disease instead of trying to prevent it or trying to cure it. And so I just saw this as a very powerful opportunity to kind of share a really unique and powerful technology. So that was kind of my initial excitement about LifeWave and how the technology works and what kind of furthered my desire to understand it on a real foundational basis.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you talked about a unique and powerful technology. I love that. And Gregory was showing a few slides before you came on, Dr. Jeff, and he started to talk about photobiomodulation, which is the technology that makes the patches work. We didn't get into explaining it, so we saved that one for you. So could you please explain how the patches work and what is photobiomodulation?
Well, I would love to. So, photobiomodulation is just a fancy scientific term for light therapy. It is the way in which our body responds to direct light of varying frequencies on our skin. So, two really hallmark sort of for about photobiomodulation experiences that everybody knows about is one is UV light from the sun that increases melanin and makes our skin darker. That's how we get a suntan, and have those experiences at the beaches and et cetera. And then another really profound one is vitamin D synthesis. And so we take supplements and we have vitamin D in our diet, but the most effective way to raise blood levels of vitamin D is through direct sun contact. And so Mr. Schmidt has figured out all of the other varying different frequencies on the near infrared spectrum to be able to raise certain molecules that have been scientifically proven to be beneficial and therapeutic, i.e., glutathione, carnosine, and GHK copper peptide, which is our stem cell molecule inhibitor or
Activator.
activator. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. So you've introduced the technology. And I love the way you talk about it, the sun, because everyone understands, the sun and vitamin D. So it's the same kind of thing. This little patch, your body heat activates it, it creates a frequency and a biochemical change happens. Love it. So let's move into talking about the star of the show, X39. Why is it so special? And why, what happened to this company is from 2018 to 2019, when the patch was introduced in January of 2019, the company tripled because of this product. Why is that? What's so special about it, Dr. Jeff?
Well, start with the fact that GHK copper peptide is a lifestyle molecule. It was discovered back in the early 70s by Dr. Lauren Picard, who's a Harvard professor. And he noticed this molecule and how it began to influence the body to be in its healthiest state, right? To heal and to repair and all of these different things. And so as he continued to study this molecule, he came to realize that there's like 4,192 different genes that this molecule influences. And so that creates so many different improvements in the body and the way that it works. And so either these genes are what we call upregulated, where their products and proteins are increased, or those genes are downregulated where those products are decreased or turned off completely. And so, for example, let's say, for instance, one particular gene's responsibility is to produce proteins that help to clean out blood vessels and to remove atherosclerosis or plaque buildup. We want to upregulate those products, right? We want to have healthy, clean, and well-working arteries so that our circulation is appropriate. Let's say, for instance, there is another gene that is responsible for fat storage. And we say, hey, we don't want to store fat, we want to burn fat. So in those instances, that protein or those products of that gene will be downregulated or turned off. So this GHK copper peptide is responsible for doing all of these things beneath the surface on a genetic level. And then also it influences the development or the change of our adult skin cells called keratinocytes into pluripotent stem cells. And therein lies the magic of X39, the combination of this genetic approach of GHK copper peptide, and then the increase in activity of stem cells. And they are responding to chemical messengers and, tackling inflammation, tackling trauma, tackling scar tissue, all of these things that we know over time create challenges for our body and joints to function. And so people are seeing, outlandish results with skin improvement and sleep, energy levels, mental clarity, and just on a basic physiological level, your body is functioning much more appropriately, and the results are just amazing.
Love it. 4,192, huh?
Pretty awesome.
That is really, really exciting that the copper peptide can actually alter gene expression of over 4,000 genes, up and down regulating, like you say, to get to that place of what the body does is, it's always wanting to get to homeostasis. And I believe on our last call, you said it so beautifully that, the patches don't do any healing. They help the body do what the body does best, which is so beautiful. So let's take a look before we open up to our participants. We've talked about the copper peptide, and just a little bit to give some people that are brand new, Dr. Jeff, how do you wear this? How do you use this? How do you create the optimal conditions for getting the best results from using the Lifewave patches?
Great question. Great question. So underneath all of the powerful technology and the cool light therapy sort of technology is a ancient science in traditional Chinese medicine in the form of acupuncture. We learned from Mr. Schmidt several months ago that he is an avid practicer of Qigong and understanding how the body and its meridians and the flow of Qi and all of that good stuff. And so there are two hallmark locations for the X39 on the C7 vertebrae on the back of your neck, and also a few finger widths beneath your navel. And those two acupuncture locations on the governing vessel meridian and the conception vessel meridian are key junctures where several different meridians come together. And so that's why we choose to use those as the kind of hallmark locations. But I like to think of the X39 like the queen on the chessboard. You can actually put the X39 anywhere. If you have a pain, if you have discomfort, if you have joint disease, you can literally put this anywhere, and it's going to begin to generate those sorts of changes that we talked about. But that's essentially most of how we actually apply the patches, because there's been so many different key acupuncture points and meridians that we know are influential, and they're found in the back of your booklet that comes in conjunction with your patches.
Beautiful.
So we follow those particular regimens, but one of the most exciting parts about this for me is the vast array of different combinations and ways that you can wear the patches. I mean, there's no shortage of different areas that you can apply the patch. So that's a huge, huge element to the healing process, is putting the patches in various different areas based upon how your body and your physiology works.
Are there any contraindications? Is there anyone who shouldn't wear the patches?
Well, I won't say contraindications, but maybe as we put it, they counteract something that you might be trying to do otherwise. So, like for instance, we often tell individuals who may be undergoing chemotherapy or have undergone chemotherapy recently that, you know, the idea with that particular therapy is that you want to kill off certain cells, whereas the GHK copper peptide and the stem cells are going to improve cell function and going to rebuild cell tissue. So that might be counterintuitive, and you might want to talk to your oncologist or something like that about that particular issue. But other than that, there aren't any, to my knowledge, and from what I understand, there are a whole gateway of different ways that you can use this, even if there is something that you think might be counterproductive.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's some of the patches, enhance the immune system. So if we're on any kind of immune suppressing medications, wait till you're off them, and then it's totally safe. That's what's so exciting for so many of us. Nothing is going in the body. It's non-transdermal. Well, we have some questions, and we're going to run a little later this evening because Dr. Jeff joined us a little later, and I want to make sure you get your benefit from having Dr. Jeff here. So I believe Barry has a testimonial, and then we have some questions. So Barry, you are open to chat. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can. Thank you, Barry.
I was muted. Okay. Well, on Sunday, we were going to go to a spring to get some water, and I had a condition on my feet that started back in the 70s that causes pain, but I hadn't had pain in years. And 2 months ago, I started getting pain again. So I thought, well, I'll put patches on and see what happens so I can hike, right? So I put on my feet, I put X39 glutathione and Icewave. And then I put an Aeon on the tiger's mouth, on the hand. And I didn't have any pain. So we're up there, and it was kind of a difficult spot where the spring is, and there was actually traffic right close to it, and we're by the road, and I got 4 bottles filled. I put a couple in the car. The third bottle, when I went to put it in the car, my foot hit the road edge, which is about 8 inches high, and with a 5-gallon bottle in my arms in front of me, I went flying into the edge of the wheel well with my head.
Oh.
And so I got about a 4 or 5 inch gash that was pretty deep, and usually scalp wounds bleed a lot, right? So we put some pressure on it, and I thought, and one of our friends was there. He said, "You're going to need stitches." So we had a 2-hour drive to the VA in where we live, and I was putting pressure on it. Every so often, it would bleed a lot. I never had any pain. No pain. When I got to the hospital, they kept asking me about the pain, and I kept saying, "I don't have any pain." And they said, "Wow, you're really stoic." And so it turned out that I broke some arteries. The doctor had to put stitches and stuff in. And I said, "Well, am I going to get a hematoma?" He says, "Definitely in the next few days, you're going to get a hematoma." There's no hematoma. A hematoma is a bruise-like thing, And I haven't had any problems at all. I mean, and we put we put a patch on it that night, of course, when we got home, right directly, next to it. And then this morning I put a patch on each side, and it's shrunk. What would you say, dear?
A lot.
A lot. Gayla was told, I can't see it.
Yeah.
Gayla said it shrunk
I'm
a lot
taking
already
pictures.
just with one day of the patch.
Yeah, I'm taking
That's beautiful. Thank you, Barry. Thank you.
One more
Thank you.
thing. So on my feet, you know, not only did the pain go away, but the next day when I took off the patches, it had destroyed a percentage of
wart.
the virus that's there. You know,
That's beautiful. Thank you, Barry. Well, it's pretty amazing. And one of the things we didn't talk about is the wound acceleration that happens with, and that's one of the wonderful benefits of the copper peptide. So we have a few questions here for you, Doctor. Deb says she is a client who gets some pains in her head when she wears Eon and glutathione. Do you have any suggestions?
You know, that's interesting. There's a handful of people that have been sharing with me that they have some sort of pain when they wear the patches. And I think that was on the call that you had with David, where he said, hey, there's these deposits and buildups in our fat stores, and that they can create these pains or discomforts, and you kind of just have to progress your way through it. You can definitely take the patches off and kind of limit the interaction with that particular frequency of light and kind of work your way into it. Everybody's body and physiology is unique. So you kind of have to find your way to the most effective way to wear the patches. Some people do better during the day. Some people do better at night. So sometimes it's a bit of a trial and error period to get the exact regimen that's going to work best for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, some people do get, some pains in their head, and that could be some kind of detox reaction too, can it?
Exactly, especially with glutathione. We have something we know as a healing crisis. And so sometimes it can be rashes or changes to the skin. It could be headaches. It could be a kind of a flush of your colon or changes in your urination. And you can just take that glutathione off for a couple of days and then reapply and see how your body responds that way. I know for me, I wear my glutathione almost daily, but that's not the case for everybody. Some people need a day or two in between because these patches are so effective. They raise your glutathione levels 300% in 24 hours. So that is a huge jump for most people in comparison to what their normal glutathione levels are.
Great, thank you. And can you address the importance of hydration?
Oh, it's so valuable. Your hydration and your mineralization are going to be key in how effective the patches are. So copper, zinc, and magnesium levels need to be appropriate, and you need to be getting your adequate amount of hydration. And so there's several schools of thought on that. I'd say there's a common sort of mathematical equation. You drink about 2/3 of your body weight in ounces, and that's about the normal sort of water intake that you should have. But that kind of just depends upon you. If you're not feeling the effects, if you're still not going to the bathroom as much as you should be urinating about 12 to 15 times a day. If you're not doing that, you're not getting enough water.
Good to know. That's a new one. I haven't heard the 12 to 15 times, but I like it. I like to tell people if your urine is the color of beer, you're dehydrated. If it's clear, you're drinking too fast.
That's exactly what
We want it to be light yellow.
Yep.
And that really depends on your diet too, because if you're eating, healthy food, raw or natural foods, there's a lot more water in them than processed foods. So everybody's different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Lucy's asking, have you helped men with prostate issues?
Interestingly, I have. So Phil Franklin has a call Tuesday and Thursday nights that I participate in. And there's been a handful of gentlemen who have joined that call and asked specifically about prostate issues. What I always suggest is that you can actually apply the patches, the adhesive side to your underwear. And so obviously it can be sweaty and hairy. in between your legs. And so don't apply the patches directly to the skin, apply the patches to your undergarment, and you still will get the same, frequency of light in that particular area. And there's been lots of success with people with prostate issues, specifically the amount of times that you get up at the middle of the night to urinate. And so that's one of the key ways to determine how effective things are working, is if you start to minimize those nightly urinations.
And which patches would you recommend?
I like X39. Also, I mean, if you're having hypertrophy, which is the normal sort of experience for men as they get into their 60s and 70s, then you also could use Eon. Those two are really great together.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. So we have Daniela that has her hand up. So I'm unmuting your phone, Daniela, so you can talk now.
Oh, hello. Thank you so
Let's
much.
keep it brief because we're already
Oh.
over time and we want to reach a few more people. So thank you.
Awesome. So for someone who has floaters in her eyes and is on the verge of detaching retina, and she's not drinking much water, like she has a very hard time drinking, and also she cannot put a mask on her eyes to put the patches on because of severe PTSD. How can I help her with suggestions where to do and what to do and where to place it? And she's really barely drinking. I'm working on that for her.
Okay. So I love these acupuncture points right here, just beneath the eyes, over your cheeks. Those are really awesome. And there is an interesting sort of acupuncture phenomenon where you put things in a triangular location. So if you put, say, an X39 or an Eon here at the third eye, and then put energy patches or ice wave on either side, tan on the left, white on the right, underneath your pupils, that's a really excellent way, not only to help vision, but also to help with sinuses or any sort of upper respiratory issues or congestion. I would try that. I really love the patch on a sleep mask or on an eye patch. It's unfortunate that gives her anxiety and makes her uncomfortable. That would be the number one way that I would suggest to deal with.
And so you would say ice wave. And what about I guess an X39 and
Absolutely, X39 here. Or
there.
even you could do X39 if the vision is really bad, and
Really
it
bad.
sounds like maybe it could be. I used to think that doing more than 2 X39 was overkill, but my opinion about that has been changed. If you need to do 3 here, or you can do you can do them over the eyes. There's a really powerful. If you feel right here, just above your eyebrow, you can almost feel a little divot there.
Yeah.
It should be a little tender. You can put X39s there. Also really close. I mean, it kind of depends upon whether you're going to wear them during the day or whether wear them at night. I think obviously it's easier to do it at night because you don't have as much going on. You don't have as much knowledge of them being on your face. But if it disturbs her sleep, then that could be also another potential problem.
She can have terrible sleep, so maybe to combine it with something to calm her down, like the Eon or.
Eon would be great. Silent Night would be great. Aloe Vita would be great. I've been experimenting with aloe vita right here on my third eye as well, and it's pretty powerful to help regulate your sleep.
Thank you, Dr. Jeff. There's a lot of great information there. Let's go for Patricia. And you should be able to talk now, Patricia.
Hope so. Can you hear me?
We can.
Wonderful. I was wondering about, no, I can't say the word, neuropathy in a person's foot. I have a lady with 2 feet who has neuropathy and plantar fasciitis, and I was wondering.
Patricia, I want to interrupt. We just want to talk symptoms only.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Symptoms only.
Yes.
Thank you.
She has pain in her feet.
Numbness and tingling in the feet. Gotcha. Carnosine is going to be your go-to. Actually, there are a ton of different research studies about the benefits of carnosine on actual peripheral numbness and tingling and nerve disease. So I would go strong with the carnosine, and also X39 is going to be great. Eon is also really good as well. Um, if she has plantar issues, then I would also look at the kidney 1 position, which is on the bottom of the foot. You can actualize those acupuncture points. They are very powerful to help with any sort of foot condition or issues down on the foot and ankle.
Great.
Could you repeat?
Thank you. So what he said was carnosine, X39, and Eon. Okay, and I'm just going to take one more because we're really running a little late here. And Paul, you're on. I think you're muted. You have to unmute your phone, Paul. Oh, I guess he's not able to unmute. Okay. Well, this has been amazing. I love that every time we're together, I get to learn so much. And I'm so grateful for you, Dr. Jeff, for taking your precious time to be with us. And all of our doctors are volunteering their time to serve the community. So please respect them for that. And I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank all of you participants, people that shared, and the rest of you that are here with us live and watching the replay. And also those of you on Facebook Live. If you're brand new, we invite you to get back to the person who invited you. We have wonderful programs for customers and for people that like to share. And if you're someone who likes to share, there's a very wonderful compensation for doing that. And it's just, it's a gift to me that every day I wake up and I know I'm going to hear miracle stories. Isn't that true, Dr. Jeff?
It is. That is absolutely the case. Lives are changing. I say both the health and your wealth are changing when you get introduced to Lifewave. It's such an awesome, awesome company and an awesome product.
Beautiful. So we will be back next week, and want to thank you all for being with us, and have a wonderful, healthy holiday season. Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you, Dr. Jeff.